Hello guys, what's going on? Uh, as I mentioned, I'm gonna be doing the explanation of Magic the Gathering and try to explain the game as best as possible for newcomers and newbies and, well, people who haven't played the game and want to try to get to grips with it and how to get started. Uh, so this is gonna be the video for them. People who know Magic the Gathering, you probably know all this stuff already, so you probably don't need to watch this. Uh, but that's up to you. Yeah. As usual, I'll be bringing my Urge. That's the soda. Yeah. It's only available in Norway, but you can scan this code right here and you'll get a free Urge sent to your home. So that's really good. Yeah. So I'm going to give you some seconds to scan this and then we're going to get started. Okay, ready? Get scanning. Okay. Great. I bet 23 of you people already scanned the code and got your Urge, so congratulations. Okay, so what is Magic the Gathering? Magic the Gathering is probably the competing against Pokemon, which is this Pokemon card game. Yeah, competing to be the most popular card game in the world. I'm not too sure which one is the most popular, but Pokemon and Magic the Gathering are top two, I would believe. Yeah, many other companies have tried to make card games, but have not had so much success as these have had. Yeah. So, what is Magic the Gathering? Well, it's a fantasy game consisting of 5 colors. Yeah. There we go. 5 colors. Yeah. And it's white, black, red, blue, and green. Yeah. So you pick a color and then you just make cards, or you make a deck with those cards. Yeah. So pretty simple stuff, really. And I'm gonna go through all the colors with you guys, so you know what's what and what do these different colors mean and what do they stand for and all kinds of junk. So we're gonna go through them in this order, I think, since I've written it down in that order. So to start off, a deck consists of lands and creatures or spells. Yeah. So if we take white now, for example, white land can look like this. And lands is a sort of a currency which you use to pay for your spells and creatures and stuff. And one land means one. So, and you basically just tap the land to show that you've paid. So if it's my turn, I put out a land like this, and I want to pay for a creature. I do like this. And that shows that I've spent one land or one mana, one white mana on something. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really simple once you get to grips with it. But of course, it does take some time though. But as soon as you start learning the game, it's actually really simple. Yeah. So as an example here, let's just say round 1, and I've got 7 cards, and you always start the game with 7 cards in your hand, and you get to draw 1 extra card. So then you got 8 cards when your turn starts. Let's see here. Okay. So now I got my 7 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I had just started the game and I'm playing against 2 others. Yeah. So what you usually would do is you start with playing a land. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play a land right now. There, it's a basic white land right there. Yeah. Nothing real special about that. But then I see on my hand here, what can I do with 1 land? Okay, so this costs 6. It costs 2 white lands and 4 whatever lands. Yeah. So I can't do that right now. I can do this though. I can play an instant, which is a sort of a spell that you can play instantly, but target creature can block any number of creatures this turn. Okay, so that applies to creatures, but I have no creatures in play here. So what I'm gonna do? And there's also another spell here. It costs 4. Target player gains 2 life for each creature in play. So that would be really good if I got lots of creatures and then I pay 4 and I get 2 life for each creature I have. But I don't have any creatures right now. So what do I do? And then I find this. It only costs 1 mana to play. And it's a Soul Warden. Nice artwork and stuff. Nice woman there. And it says whenever any creature comes into play, you gain 1 life. And she's got 1 true attack and 1 life. So she's not really powerful, but it's a really good starting card, this, because if I'm the first player to start the game, because you roll a dice and you decide who starts the game. And the guy with the highest dice usually wins, yeah, and starts the game. So hey, I actually got enough mana to play this Soul Warden. So then I do like this. And I put this creature in play. See? I paid 1 and she costs 1. So it's pretty basic, but you get the idea. Yeah. And you're probably saying, hey, Jolrath, if you got a creature, can't you attack the others? No, you can't do that because she's got something called summoning sickness. She's a bit dizzy. She's just come out into the world. So she can't do anything the first turn. So then she just sits there. She can block, though, for some reason. So, yeah. So if another creature attacks me, I can decide to block so I myself don't get damage. In Commander, each player has 40 life. So that means that I have 40 life. Yeah. And if that gets reduced to 0, then I lose the game. Yeah. So there you go. And then my 2 other players, they take their turns. It doesn't really take too long to just play 1 land or whatever. So it's my turn almost instantly. And then I untap this land because when your turn starts, which is called your upkeep, you can like untap your lands and stuff. So I untap this and then I can spend 1 more land if I want. And in my second turn, I can play a second land like this one. This is a different design than this one. It's from 2 different series, I believe it is. Yeah. So then I can pay 2 for any kind of deal. I can put out a creature, or I can play an artifact which has nothing to do with the white color. Artifacts can be played in any color because you only pay 2 right there. You don't need to pay 2 white. You can pay 2 black or red or whatever you want. And I see here that I got enough lands to play this. So I pay 2. and I get this artifact in play. And this artifact, it reads, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Yeah. But I have to pay 3 to do that. Yeah, I don't have to pay this cost again, because I've already paid it to get this artifact in play. So I don't have to pay this the next turn. But if I want to use it, then I have to pay 3 and I have to tap it. That's what this symbol means right here. You tap the, yeah. I believe some of these lands also has the same symbol. Yeah, this land also has that symbol right here. There we go. So there we go. That's the symbol, which means you tap it to use it. Yeah. So artifacts aren't like creatures. They don't have summoning sickness, but I can't use it right now because it costs 3. So, and I've already spent my mana. But what I can do is I can attack. So I choose to attack my friend Giorgio. Hey Giorgio, I attack you, and he goes like, "Oh, sacre bleu!" And he gets 1 damage because he hasn't gotten any creatures out yet. He's struggling with his lands, so he's not getting any lands. So I'm just attacking. So that means he goes from 40 to 39 life, Giorgio, and he's pretty pissed at me now. He's gone to the toilet, so he's gonna probably stay there for a while. So this is gonna be a long game indeed. Yeah. So yeah, that's the gist of it. That's the basic game. It gets, of course, even more complicated once you get more lands and even more creatures get into the field, but that's basically how the game works. So there you go. That's the basic gameplay of Magic. There's, of course, lots of rules I will try to explain to you. But that's it. So what's the basic thing you need to know about white? Well, if anything, white and black are 2 very, well, let's call it emotional colors with a lot of emotion, because white is good and black is evil in a very spiritual sense. And white is often a lot about gaining life. So here you got an enchantment, boon reflection, it says here. If you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. Yeah. So a really powerful card. So, and this card connects with this card, because whenever another creature comes into play, you gain 1 life. But if I have this in play, I get 2 life instead, you see? So it's twice the amount. So you just take whatever effect you have. In this case, it's this card right here, and you time it by 2. So, yeah. 1 times 2 is 2. It's really simple. Yeah. But you get twice the amount. It says so right here. Yeah. Another example is I play Feud Killer's Verdict. It costs a bit though. It costs 6. But it says you gain 10 life. Then if you have more life than opponent, and I guess you choose the opponent, put a 5/5 white giant warrior creature token into play. Yeah. But if I have this in play, then I got 20 life instead. You see? So many cards are connected like that, and good deck is based upon how many interconnections and connections you have between the cards. So a deck can become really, really powerful if you build it correctly. So that's one of the fun aspects of Magic the Gathering, is that you can make a lot of fun decks that have cards that interact with each other like that. Yeah. Another trait of white is something called vigilance. And there are some other colors that have vigilance as well, but it's mostly referred to as white creatures that have vigilance. And vigilance means that when you attack, you don't have to tap the creature. And that means if you attack, and the creature goes like that, and then you can't use the creature to block if the enemy player wants to attack you. But with vigilance, you don't have to do that. You just say it attacks, but it stays like that. So that means the creature can block. So vigilance doesn't cause any creature to tap like this. So you can attack, but still have it available for blocking if you want. So that's one of the cool things about white. And white is all about religion and good and all the good forces of the universe. White has lots of humans. And yeah, it's a feel-good color. If you have white, then you're a good guy. So, yeah. One of the faults about white is that it has been said to be a bit slow because it's a bit defensive. You got lots of creatures that defend and stuff, but you don't have much room for attacking early game. Yeah. So white is all about preparing and then attacking late game. Yeah. But as mentioned, there's all sorts of complicated rules here, so I'm just not going to go into everything. But this card also says flying, which means that this creature can fly. So creatures without flying can't attack it because, well, the creature is basically flying. It's flying up in the air, man, and the other creatures can't reach it because it's a flying creature, and yeah. So, but if my enemy opponent has a flying creature, then yeah, he can block it with his flying creature as well. So. Yeah. So if anybody has any questions about this, then just leave a comment below, and I'll try to answer as best I can. Another trait that white has, it has a lot of protection. It's a sort of a shield, which white has on many of their creatures and stuff. It was more common in the old series, not so much now, but still, you still find creatures with protection on them. And in this case, this is the Duskrider's Falcon, and it's got flying, and since it's a falcon, that's obvious, but it also has protection from black, which means that it's untouchable by black. So if I attack with this, it doesn't have vigilance, so I have to tap it. But if I attack with this, and I attack my friend who's only got black creatures, but he has a creature with flying, he can't block with his flying creature because my falcon has protection from black. It says so right here. So, seaborne ships have their dolphins to dance in their wakes. I have my Dusk Riders. Cizay Journal. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome stuff. Yeah. White, it's pretty cool. And you can also enhance white with, for example, artifacts. I like this one. Equipped creature gets +1, +0 for each equipment attached to it. Yeah. And since this is one equipment, then it already gets +1. So I can do like this, and then it's suddenly 2-1. 2 damage and 1 life on this Soul Warden. Yeah. So there we go. So what have we learned from this? White is good. Yeah. Can also be connected to religion if you want. Very protective. Yeah. So it's really hard to damage white if you got a white deck. If you built it semi good, you don't have to be a master at making white decks to make a white deck almost impenetrable. So it's very protective. So it's really hard to do damage to white decks because they've got a lot of protective creatures out there with a lot of, well, protective abilities, if you will. Yeah. And we talked about vigilance. And protection. Yeah. But if there's one thing I want you to remember with white, if you got one thing only, then it's just this. White are the good guys of Magic the Gathering. Yeah. So there we go. You can also make a deck out of 2 colors, believe it or not. And then you get to play, for example, this. It's here you get to choose which mana you want to play, because you can play a white or a black mana. Yeah. And it's flying, lifelink, and Dividend of Prague gets +4/+4 as long as you have 25 or more life. But I won't say much about making multicolored decks, because that will make this video 4 hours long, and I don't want to do that. That will be probably a topic for a different video, probably. Yeah. Okay, enough about white, I think. Leave a comment below if you have any questions for me, or if you want to. You can also become a member, of course. That's also helpful if you want to support the channel. And what I try to do here is to make people discover Magic the Gathering and have fun with it. Yeah. The next color we're going to discuss now is black. Yeah. And the reason I'm talking about black is that black is, well, the opposite of white. Black are the evil dudes of the world. It's dark, it's grim. If you think about all the horror movies you watch, then black isn't far from it. Black is the color that have taken inspiration from all the evil and things inspired by evil in the world. So yeah. And we're going to see and look at some examples of pure black dark magic. The lands look like this. It's just death all around. It's, yeah. Yeah, it's true, man. Once you go black, you don't go back. So yeah, it's true. I'm ashamed to say it, but yeah, it's true. So all the lands have a sort of a skull to them. I guess they chose. I guess they wanted to make it as evil and deadly as possible and more dark as possible. So they chose a skull for the symbol. So this is black, and yeah, that's basically what it is. But it's the same rule set as before. You start the game by just paying lands, and in this case, it's black lands, and you have the same rules as in white. You can't pay for anything more than one if you have one land, and so forth. And here I have 2 lands. I'm not getting many cards out, and Giorgio is starting to attack me with his green creatures, and I've already gotten 3 damage. Yeah. And I don't have many creatures. That's good. 3rd round. 3rd land. Then I suddenly have a card which I can throw out there. Yeah. So I tap all 3 lands. And Giorgio, he's wondering what I'm going to do. And I play this. Bottomless Pit. I play. During each player's upkeep, which means basically when you start your turn, that player discards a card at random. so black is funny as hell. It's just to be annoying, really. So now everybody has to discard a card at random. They can't choose the card they discard. They have to discard. Well, so black can also be quite funny and annoying. Yeah, I know it's evil. I know, but there we go, man. So yeah. And then it's my 4th turn. I do have a land to play, so I play my 4th land. I still got this, so I have to discard a card at random. I discard this, which is a shame, but still, okay. A Sanctuary Rate. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. A really good card, but I had to discard it, and this card says it's a random card, so yeah, I have to discard it. So that's a shame. And it goes into something called my graveyard. And my graveyard is a place where cards go. Creatures that die go in the graveyard, and sorceries that have been spent or cast go in the graveyard as well. So this goes in the graveyard since it's been discarded. Yeah, so I'll just throw it here. Actually, my friend, there is a card that can let you get creatures back from the graveyard. Let me see if I can find one as an example. No, hold on. I have a card here which lets me return something from my graveyard. Let me just find it real quick. Yeah, for example, this then. This is a spell. It's called Bone Harvest. It's an instance. I can cast it instantly. But here it says put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library. And draw a card at the beginning of your next turn's upkeep. So this is an example of a card I can do. And then I get to put any number of my creatures. I can take all of them if I want from my graveyard and put them on top of my library. The bad thing about this card, though, is that if you do that, you don't get any lands. So I have to make sure I have enough lands in play before I play this card, because I'll be putting a lot of creatures on top of my library. So, yeah. Pretty cool card to have in your deck if you want to return your creatures that have died. And another example is, of course, this. It costs 9 to cast, so it's a bit costly, but put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. So that means I can take the creatures from my graveyard, but also the creatures of my opponent's graveyards, and put them under my control on the battlefield. So this is essentially a win card, but of course it's a bit costly, and yeah. And beware, it can't be countered. I'll explain countering later when I start talking about the blue color. Yeah. Some more examples of evil cards in black. Here is an evil card. There's a guy here about to be executed. Yeah. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So there's a lot of harrowing and kids shouldn't play Magic the Gathering because some of these artwork are pretty sinister and dark. So yeah, but I believe there's an age limit on Magic the Gathering. There's no age limit on playing Pokemon because, well, that's a kid's game and everybody can play it. But I'm not too sure about which age limit it is, though. But I don't think kids can play Magic the Gathering. I think you have to be a certain age to actually play it and buy it and play it. Yeah. Some more examples here. Another example is Invoke Despair. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life, and you draw a card. And this is a sort of a foil card. It's got a special effect on it, so it lights up if you put a light on it and stuff. These cards are really cool. But there are different qualities to foil cards. Some foil cards are pretty crap because they're difficult to read, but this is okay. Yeah. Okay, so what are the traits of black? Black is a color which lets you draw a lot of cards. Yeah, that's right. Here's another example. You draw 3 cards and you lose 3 life. So, yeah, it's a bit of a cost, but you get to draw 3 cards. You have to pay 4 though. So yeah, that's yeah, and it's a sorcery. A sorcery means that you have to play the spell at a given time on your turn. So you can't just like play it instantly because it doesn't say instant here. It says sorcery. So you have to, yeah. Pretty cool card. And it's nice to draw cards because then you're winning the game if you draw cards faster than your other opponents. Some more sinister artwork here from black. This only costs 1, and you enchant a creature. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. Yeah. But you wouldn't want your 4-year-old boy to have this card in his hand and look at it, because, well, it's a pretty sinister picture. So, yeah. That can get anybody to have nightmares, man. Oh, well. Okay. don't know if there's anything else to say really about black. Black is also about sacrificing a lot of creatures and stuff to get what you want in life. Black is all about power and unlimited power. So let's say you have this creature and it's a Barnish Heart, so it's just a 2/2 and it's an elk, so it's basically just a creature. Yeah. If you sacrifice it though, you can search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them into the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Yeah. But let's say that I have enough lands. Let's see, I have enough lands. Yeah. So instead, what I want to do is I want to sacrifice that guy to get something else. Let's see if I can find that card. Oh, there we go. Okay. So instead, I'm playing this. Altus Reap, and it only costs 2. But it says, and it's an instance, I can like play it instantly and stuff. But it says, as an additional cost to cast Altus Reap, sacrifice a creature. I get to draw 2 cards. So then I have to sacrifice a creature, and that means sacrificing this dude right here. Yeah. So there we go. So there we go. What else is there to know about black? It's a really powerful card. It's called tutors. Yeah, and black has many tutors, and this is probably not the best example because it's a bit expensive. It costs 4, but tutors mean that you search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. So you cast the spell, pay 4, and then you get to search your library for any card and put it into your hand. And that just is what black is all about. It's about gaining power really quickly and defeating your opponents in a sinister and evil way. So, I don't think there's much more to be said about black. I could have talked a little bit more about black, of course. For example, shadow being the same as flying, but if your creature has shadow, then it can't be blocked by other creatures. The creature has to have shadow as well to block it, of course. So there's that. But I think we'll conclude the black color now. So black are the evil dudes. Yeah, really evil. All about power and sacrificing stuff to gaining more power. So you sacrifice a lot and you lose life in return for, well, power and defeating your enemies real quickly. Yeah. Shadow. Yeah. And you also have a lot of draw cards. So you can draw cards real quickly with black. There you go. What's the next on my list here? The next on my list is red. So let's go over to red color. So red is basically the flame. Cast it into the fire. Yeah. So red is the flame symbol. And it's the same basic deal with lands and paying and stuff. So I hope you've got that in part right now. But red is really fast. That's the best way to describe red. It's just really fast. So you can do a lot with very few lands with the red color. Yeah. So already with one land, I get to do this. I deal 2 damage to target creature or player. So no other colors have these instances where you do a lot of damage very quickly and it costs almost nothing. That's what red is all about. Yeah. And red is all about, well, bad example here, but I can show it to you. It's a cat creature. Yeah, cost 4. I'm not particularly good, but there we go. It's a cat, and it's a 3/3. So it's got 3 damage and 3 life. This is probably a better example. Yeah, that's what she said, man. Nest Robber. This is a pretty good example of what red is about. And that's why I'm going to explain this card to you. Yeah. So let's say I start the game with 1 mana. And my opponent, he throws out a creature, a 2/2 zombie, because he's playing black. And as a response to this, I just do this. And I play this. I give the zombie the shock. Shock to the system with Billy Idol. You should listen to it. It's really good. Shock deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So I do 2 damage to the zombie, and the zombie is dead and goes in the graveyard. Yeah. So Jojo is really annoyed with me right now because I killed his zombie. He doesn't know what to do, so he goes to the toilet, and we have to take a break from the game because he's angry as hell. Because that was his favorite zombie. Yeah. So now it's the second turn. Giorgio has returned from the toilet, and it's my turn. And I pay 2, and I play this. And this card is the Nest Robber. It's a creature dinosaur. It's got 2/1, so that means it's got 2 attack and 1 health. These sailors on our shores are like dinosaurs that plunder eggs from nests. They live on the labors of others. So there you go. All these cards can have texts, and it's just a flavor text to give the card more flavor and give the card more personality and tell something about the story that's within Magic the Gathering. There's all sorts of stories and history behind the cards and decks that's been created. So that's what this text is about. But it's not more useful than that. It just stirs your imagination, really. But the card says haste. And you ask me, Joldrath, what does haste mean? Well, haste means basically what haste means. All creatures in the game have summoning sickness, which means that when you put them out there, you have to wait an entire round till your next turn till you can use it. But haste means that you can use it right away. You can attack with it right away. So I do that, and I attack Giorgio. Giorgio, this guy attacks you, man. And he goes, let's suck the blood. and he went home. He got so angry with me that he went home. So the game is basically over, man, before it even started. Yeah, Giorgio, he does have a temper, so that can be a problem with Giorgio. We never get to play any games because he just leaves. Yeah, he has to have the most powerful deck, and he has to kill us all in 2 turns. If he doesn't do that, then he goes home. But that's basically red. It's all about haste, all about quick wins and quick victories. So I would actually dare say that red is the least powerful color in late game. Because if you allow black or blue or even white to build themselves up, then red isn't all that powerful. Because red is all about the quick cards, the cheap creatures that have haste. Here's a Crazed Goblin, for example. Crazed Goblin attacks each turn if able. So this guy has to attack. He has no choice. He attacks each turn, except the turn he has Summoning Sickness. Because he doesn't have haste. So Crazed Goblin attacks each turn if able, but the turn he comes into play, he's not able to attack because he has Summoning Sickness. Yeah. What else? You have a bit of flying in red, and there's a lot of dragons in red. Reozu, the Falling Star. It's got flying. When Reozu, the Falling Star, is put into a graveyard from play, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. So it's pretty awesome stuff. Yeah. So when he dies, he just breathes fire all over the place, and all creatures with 5 or less life die. Yeah. Here's another example. Creature that costs 5. It has trample and haste. And I'm going to be explaining trample on the green color, but I can explain it here as well. Trample just means that if a creature blocks it, and the creature has 2, the player still gets 3 damage, because the damage goes over the creature. Yeah. If this creature didn't have trample, and Giorgio blocked it with a 1/1, it would be enough to stop this creature. Yeah. But since this guy has trample, you need to block this creature with a 5/5 or more. Okay, let's say that I attack with this, and my enemy player has the exact same card. Yeah, that's right. Live loot. That's immediately correct right there. So, but let's say that my enemy player has the exact same creature, and they both block each other. It's 5/5 versus a 5/5, so both die and nothing else happens. Yeah. So. You do also have some cards that just destroy creatures. I can show you this. This is an instant. It's called Crush. It's a bit of a, yeah. I won't show that because then my video will get demonetized. But here it says destroy target non-creature artifact. Yeah. So that means it ain't a creature, but it's an artifact, and I choose to destroy it. Yeah. So. Here's also a good example. A Braid deals 3 damage to target creature, destroy target artifact, and I get to choose one of these. So I get to choose which one I want to use. Yeah. So it's pretty cool, pretty awesome stuff. And another creature, another example. Pursue Glory. Attacking creatures gets +2/+0 until of turn. And you also can also cycle the card. So that gives you more options. Discard, draw a card if you want to discard it. If this card doesn't fit your particular landscape when you play, you can just cycle it and draw something else. So to conclude, red is all about haste, which means winning very fast and winning very quickly. Yeah. So it's very powerful early game. But not very powerful late game. Yeah. So there we go. That's red, and it's all about fiery victory and quick wins. And a really good red deck, if you play it correctly, then your opponents just go, how the hell did that happen? Because you win in basically 4 or 5 rounds. Yeah. But it's all about balance, and you also need to have lands to pay for all this junk. Because if you don't get lands, then you don't win games. So you have to have a perfect balance between lands and yeah. Okay, what's next? It's blue. So let's take blue. That's my favorite color of them all. And blue is a little bit to the side. And I'm going to show you my Commander deck now as an example. Because Commander is a format you can play in Magic the Gathering. And that's the most popular format at the moment. Yeah. I should have brought in more papers. Oh well. So in Commander, you have one commander. That's your main commander. It's a creature that's legendary. It has to be legendary. And it has to be unique, which means you can't have more than one of the same commander in your deck. And that goes for all the cards in Commander. All cards have to be unique. In Standard, you could, for example, have 4 of these in your deck and it wouldn't be a problem. In Commander, you just need to have 1, and that's it. You're not allowed to have any more of this card. So you can have 1 crush, and that's it. The only exception in Commander is lands. So if you have this land right here and it looks exactly like this land, then it doesn't matter. It's okay to have more of this type of land. So to explain Commander and blue at the same time, I can start with my Commander. Talryn Sky Summoner. And he's a commander because he's a legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard. Yeah. And he says, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Yeah. And since my commander basically, he dies, but he's always in the game. He never goes to the graveyard because he goes into something called the command zone or the commander zone, as some also call it. So let's say this guy dies once, and then he gets something called a commander tax. So then it costs 2 more to get out there. So now it costs 6 instead of 4. And the tax is always 2. So 6, 8, 10, and so forth. Yeah. But when I built my deck around this guy, I thought, hey, why don't I just build a deck with tons of sorceries and instances? I don't need no creatures. So that's basically what I did. Yeah. And blue is all about trickery, all about mischief, but it's also about control. So if you have blue, you basically control the board and you rearrange what's going to happen. And there's no more classic blue card than this. And that's why I'm showing it to you. It's the Counterspell. It's been around since, well, the beginning of Magic the Gathering. And it says interrupt. And that's the old word for instant. Yeah. So this is an instant spell. Interrupt and instant are the same. And it just basically says counter target spell. Yeah. And to explain that, I'm going to take my red deck that I had before. This is not a spell. This is a spell, which evolves into a creature, but it's a spell nonetheless. This is also a spell. This is not a spell. This is a land. This is a spell. This is a spell. This is not a spell. This is a land. This is a spell. This is a spell. This is not a spell. This is a land. This is an instant, so it's a spell. This is an instance, because it's a spell. This is not a spell. This is a land. This is a spell. This is a spell. This is not a spell. This is a land. This is a spell. Even though it's an artifact, it's still a spell when you cast it. This is not a spell. This is a land. And this is a spell. Yeah. So this just stops anything that your opponents want to do. Yeah, and it costs only 2, but you have to have 2 blue mana to cast it. Yeah. So this is essentially what the blue color is. It's all about control and stopping your opponents from doing what they want to do. So blue can be annoying, and that's why blue can be very, very powerful. Yeah. I do have some creatures in this deck though. Yeah. For example, this is Watcher of Hours. He's got flying and he's got ward, which means you have to pay 3 in addition to any other costs if you want to attack this creature with a spell or something. Yeah. So if your spell costs, let's say you play this on him, Shock deals 2 damage to target creature. Okay, it's not enough to kill him, but you play this spell nonetheless. You have to pay 3 extra to get this spell out there. Yeah. And now it's starting to get complicated, so I'm not gonna read many complicated cards to you guys since this is a beginner course of Magic the Gathering, but I'm gonna try to explain this, and this is how complicated Magic the Gathering can get if you want it to get complicated. You have something called suspend, and when you play that, you don't pay this, which is the actual card cost. You pay the suspend cost instead, which is 2. And it says suspend 6, so you put a 6 dice on him, and whenever it's your upkeep or your turn, you flip the dice 1 lower. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and so forth. Whenever you remove a time counter from Witcher of Hours, which is this card's name, Surveil 1. Yeah. And Surveil just basically means that you get to look at the top card of your library, and you can put it on the top or your bottom of your library. So that's Surveil. So, but I won't go through many of these complicated rules right here. You got more here, but that's for another video. We can do this instead. This is an instant card. High Tide, it says. Until end of turn, all islands produce an additional mana when tapped for mana. Yeah. Blue is also, like black, about drawing cards. So here it says, draw 3 cards. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his graveyard. Yeah. So I get to choose which player that does that, and I get to draw 3 cards. Here's another example. Brainstorm, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Yeah. Devastation Tide. This is a sorcery, so I can't cast it whenever. But return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. So that's what blue is all about. You don't kill stuff, but you just return it to your owner's hands or your player's hands. So very annoying, but also very effective. Here's another example of Surveil. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through it because we're gonna keep this as simple as possible, but I have a lot of Surveil here, which means I can go through my library and look at it. This is Tidal Influence, which gives my creatures some minus and some plus and stuff, and it's turn-based, so yeah. But you can see the wall of text here. It's a lot, so I won't go through it all. Yeah. We're going to take a 5-minute break, guys, and I'll be right back, and we'll continue after about 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. That was probably less than 5 minutes right there, but just take your time with your breaks if you need to do something. That's okay. These live streams can get a bit long, so. Some more examples of blue. Oh, here we actually have a sort of a blue with sort of an evil tint. As an additional cost to cast Vivisection, sacrifice a creature. Draw 3 cards. Yeah. Okay, so blue can actually be a bit evil as well, believe it or not. This is a foil card, one of the better foil cards out there, because it's only foil on the borders, but the picture itself is non-foil. See that? Yeah. And this is a classic card, a return all permanents of the color of your choice to their owner's hands. So you, of course, don't choose blue, you choose something else. If a player is a threat, you choose all his colors, for example, green. Yeah. And multicolored creatures, if his creatures are green and black, for example, some creatures are like that, believe it or not. If they got green in the color, that means they too go to their owner's hands. Yeah. Lands. Instant. Surveil. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. Yeah. Target player draws 4 cards. It costs 6 to cast, so a bit expensive, but it's an instant, so you can cast it instantly. Some more examples of blue. Since this is my favorite color, we're giving it a little bit more attention probably than the other colors. This card is pretty cool. It's called Gush. You may return 2 islands you control to their owner's hands instead of paying Gush's mana cost. So you don't have to pay 5. You can just return 2 lands. So I return this and I return that to my hand, and then I get to play this for free. Draw 2 cards. Yeah. This is a flying creature. So it's a creature, yeah, but it's got when Muldrifter enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. So this deck is a lot about drawing a lot of cards quickly, and you can only have 7 cards after your discard phase at any given time. So how do you combat this? You throw something like this out there. Curiosity Crafter. It's a bird wizard, and it says it has flying. You have no maximum hand size. So that means I can basically have 20 or 30 cards on my hand. And whenever a creature token you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Yeah. So I'm hoping you're beginning to see a theme here. Flying, when your opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. So you actually get to draw cards when it's your opponent's turn. And it costs nothing. It's not a spell or anything. It's a effect of this card. This is an artifact. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. So it's a good way to get more lands. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 7 or more lands, transform Traumatic Compass. So all these magic cards, they got... this is the backside of all Magic the Gathering cards. Well, almost all. Except the cards that have 2 sides. Yeah. So in the case of Traumatic Compass, it has 2 sides, because you have 7 or more lands, then you can transform it. So then you turn the card, and it reads... It's a land, Spires of Oreska. Yeah. So you add a generic mana to your mana pool, which is a colorless mana, and then you can also untap target attacking creature an opponent controls and remove it from combat. Which means it doesn't destroy the attacking creature, it just removes it from combat, basically, and then it's not in combat anymore. So, yeah. Pretty cool, pretty powerful stuff right there. Some more examples of blue. Counterbalance, a pretty cool enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, counter that spell if it has the same converted mana cost as the revealed card. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So if a player, for example, plays this, and I reveal the top card of my library, and it's this. This costs the same as this, it's just two different colors, see? So that triggers this, and then this creature is automatically countered because of this. And that I drew this. That costed the same as this. So yeah. So, and I don't know if you noticed, but I've been casting a lot of sorceries now and a lot of instances, and that triggers this commander if, of course, he's still alive, that is. But one way for him to be alive is that I don't attack with him. I just have him hanging around. And then I get to have create 2-2 blue Drake creature tokens. Yeah. And my son, he got a 3D printer for his birthday. So I asked him, Daniel, can't you just make some blue Drake creature tokens for me, man? Because I want to spice up the game a bit. And he said, yeah, sure, Dad. And he printed these for me. Yeah. So it's a cute little Drake token, which I just put in play when I cast the sorcery. So there he goes. So with all the spells I've cast now, as you've been watching this, I'm starting to get an army of these things, yeah? And even the mother is starting to show up. There's the mother. So you see, this is starting to get a bit wild here. Yeah, he did print some for me. He printed these and something else. This guy looks a bit handicapped, but I guess something went wrong in the process there. So looks more like the Earth Tree of Elden Ring or something like that. Oh well. Yeah. So as you can see, there's lots of stuff. And here's another dude. He's got some eggs in his hair and stuff. It doesn't look too good right there. Yeah. So as you can see, there's lots of fun you can have with Magic the Gathering because it boggles the mind. It really does. Okay. Let me just clean up a little bit here, and then we're gonna go through the last color, which is green. And then we're gonna conclude and call it a day at the end of this video. Yeah. But it's important to have your commander ready, so you don't mix him up with the other cards. Since he's the commander, you need to have him. And since this is well, I got sort of 33 lands in here. When I put in lands, I put 2 normal cards in and 1 land, and then I rinse and repeat. So, yeah. 2 normal cards, and 1 land. And by doing that, I ready my deck for play the next time I want to play. So if I don't do that, then I have to go through my deck again and sort out the lands. So it's a good way to prepare your deck without spending too much time on it. So 2 normal cards and 1 land. If you, of course, got 33 lands in there. If you got more, then if you got 50 lands, then it's well, 1 normal card and 1 land. But I wouldn't recommend that. That's a bit too much, really. Yeah. Okay, so last but definitely not least, we have my least favorite color, which is green. I really haven't understood green, to be honest with you. But, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I think I'll need to get a few more papers. Be right back. So just to conclude, what blue is about here. Blue is all about control. So you control your opponents before they even know what's happening. So, yeah. And it's all about delaying the game and controlling it. Yeah. And spells and mischief and all kinds of junk. So black can be evil, white can be good, but blue is in control. And blue has also the most flying creatures of any color. So there you go. That's blue. Okay, over to green. And green is the tree color or the tree symbol. Yeah. And I'm going to go through green real quickly with you guys because, well, green is actually pretty simple. It's probably the simplest color of all. It's all about very, very large and powerful creatures. Not many creatures in green are small. And green is also about gaining lands very quickly. Yeah. You also have a lot of destroy artifact and enchantments in green, and you gain life as well. So, and trample, I did mention it a little bit earlier in this stream, but trample just means that your damage trickles down as Live Loot said it so well, it trickles down to the player. So if a creature that blocks it is less than this, then some of the damage will always go to the player. Another example of trample, when Arborback Stomper enters the battlefield, you gain life, 5 life. So, yeah. So green can be very, very powerful indeed. Here's a worm that costs exactly 6. You get what you pay for. 6-6, but it doesn't have anything else. It just have some what's it called? Yeah, some text here to tell the story of the creature and stuff. There's also sorceries in here, which makes creatures stronger. Target creature gets +4/+4 and gains trample until the end of turn. So, yeah. Green is all about overwhelming your opponents with powerful, large creatures and attacking with them. Larger than life, yeah. So this is from a non-commander deck right here. It's the classic version, because this card I have already seen previously. And you also got instances in here. Destroy target creature with flying. So this is a counter to blue, which has a lot of flying, and destroy target enchantment. Yeah. And green is also a little bit white, believe it or not. So if you would call another color good, I would say it was green, because here it says prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to players this turn, because it's commencement of festivities. So everybody's partying and having fun instead of doing combat. So, yeah. And you also got this instant, which can be cast instantly. Untap target creature, it gains +1/+3, which means it's got 3 life and 1 damage. Yeah, so if it was tapped, then you can untap it and block it. Block a creature attacking you. I don't think there's anything more to be said about green, really. It's just really simple, and that's why I don't like it that much, I guess. It's a variation of red. Instead of a lot of haste and many small creatures, you got these large, gigantic creatures which attack after 1 round because they don't got haste, but they got trample. So, yeah, damage trickles on the enemy player. Some of you who favor green are probably a bit disappointed that I didn't go through green more, but sorry about that. But I just don't really understand the point of having a lot of huge creatures and just attacking. It's boring as hell, man. But there you go. Green, all about overwhelming your opponents. Got lots of stuff against flying. But green can of course also have flying creatures. Yeah. And trample, as mentioned. Okay. That's basically it, guys. I've explained, well, try to explain Magic the Gathering the best I can. It's just a card game where you build a deck with either one of these colors or the combination of colors, or you can have all colors in the deck if you want. But that's not recommended. If you're going for a multicolored deck, I would say max 3, because after that it gets a bit hard to getting lands and stuff, because you have to have all types of lands in a deck to make it work. your local hobby store will probably sell you a deck. The most popular format now is, in fact, Commander. So you'll be buying a Commander deck. But if you have some questions, just leave them for me and I'll try to answer them as best I can. To support this channel, you become a member, and there's 2 tiers. You're either a VIP or you're what's it called? Wow, I've forgotten what I called that last tier. Yeah, worshipper. That's it. So you're a Joe Draft worshipper if you're last tier. Yeah. So that gets your name on the beginning of each of my normal videos, and we also do some videos just for members and stuff, and that's quite fun. And then we can discuss Magic the Gathering and some decks you want to build and stuff, and you can get suggestions for cards, and we get to have fun. Yeah, but being a VIP is also awesome, so don't worry about that. It's all about cost these days. I know it's hard living. It's hard to pay the bills, so I understand that perfectly well. So no pressure from me there. Yeah. But thank you for watching my Magic the Gathering Explained. It's all about Magic the Gathering, well, mostly about Magic the Gathering on this channel. And I'm having fun with it. I'm dabbling on a new blue deck, which I'm working on. I'm gonna be looking forward to showing that to you. And yeah. But as of now, this is me signing off. And thank you very much for watching. And I hope you understood Magic the Gathering a little bit better after you watched this live stream. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Take care of yourself. Have a nice day. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.